Okie dokie, boys and girls, let's talk about the basics because you've all heard that basics are very important, right? You gotta do the basics that your body becomes strong and that you can handle all different exercises. But when it comes down to exercises that get your body ready for everything else, what do you think about? I mean, when you say basics, most people think about push-ups, dips, pull-ups, and chin-ups, right? Those are like the big four basics. You have the squats for the legs as well, but today is a push day. Let's keep it to push exercises, right? People think about dips and push-ups, but if there is like one exercise that will get you strong and jacked and stacked and succulent and dense and everything you want, right? It's gonna be the planche. The planche is gonna prepare you for everything else in calisthenics, but also like it's gonna give you a basic for even weightlifting. And the reason people don't regard the planche as a basic exercise is well because it's difficult, right? But you often forget that there is also progressions to this. You know, look at planche progressions. There's like thousands or like hundreds of thousands of videos perhaps of people explaining all the progressions in the planche, and you can pick the progression that is appropriate for your level. So the lowest progression is of course the lean planche. You know, you go into a push-up position and you lean it forward a bit, however much you want, and then you have the tuck planche, and you can pick one of those to start out according to your level, and then when you progress, you can go to advanced tuck planche. You know, you can adjust the difficulty. But another thing that people say is, well, the planche is a static exercise, you know. Static exercises are not as good to build the basics, you know. You need to do reps and you have to build up volume. And that's true, but then you're also forgetting that the planche is not only the hold itself, but also the push-ups, you know, the planche press. And those are exercises that you can rep out. So for example, what I'm doing today is I'm doing a basics workout, so to speak, but I'm doing it with a planche press, you know. I have progressed up until the weighted planche now, and I'm trying to increase my volume in the planche press. I'm trying to do it more and more. And because I'm doing the planche as a basic exercise, you can also do push-ups, right? Some controlled push-ups. You're gonna get strong as fuck. I mean, I challenge you really to find one push exercise that the planche does not carry over to immensely. I mean, you get a strong planche, you're insane at dips, you're insane at normal push-ups, you're insane at handstand push-ups if you just get the balance right, you're insane at the bench press, you're insane at the overhead press. There is nothing really that you don't learn by doing the planche. So what I would say is, sure, you know, get your 15 push-ups, get your pull-ups, whatever, get to a decent level, but don't overdo it. You don't need 50 kilo dips. You don't need like 50 kilo pull-ups or whatever, right? You can get a bit of them, and as soon as you're able to do a lean planche or you're able to do a tuck front lever, try to build volume in it, because planche and front lever, right, are the most easy to progress exercises, or they have the most progressions, right? You can go from all the way to beginner to super advanced and still have room to progress. They will leave you like no limits basically to how far you can go, right? Even if you don't have a lot of weight, even if you don't want to do with thousands of reps, right? So there's such good exercises to just build your basics. And I think basics are very important, don't get me wrong. I just think people have a bit of a misinformed idea sometimes about basics, all right? Because you can also, like I said, build your volume in the planche. And the best basics to me are the ones that will carry over into everything. And when it comes to carrying over into everything, when it comes to, you know, the king of exercises for push, that's the planche. So today I'm gonna do a basics workout, and it's gonna be planche presses. I have Last time I did 10 total presses, so I did like 4 sets of 2 presses, and then a couple of 1 rep sets, so quite low reps. But basically I'm trying to build my volume there. So I started from 7, I got to 10. Today I'm gonna get 12, maybe even 15 reps total in the planche press, right? And by building up those reps, I'm building up my basics, I'm letting my body adapt, and I'm getting stronger. So that's the plan for today. That's gonna be the first exercise. And actually, I might do those presses outside because the weather is nice. So I will catch you outside. How about that? I already made that joke, but I think it's funny, so I'm saying it again. I'll see you outside for some planche presses. All right, 3 presses. And when it comes to building volume, building basics, right, if you're able to do more reps in one set, you try that. If you're not able to do more reps in one set, you try to divide the volume between more sets and basically do more total sets, right? So instead of doing 3 sets of 5 reps, you can try 4 sets of 5 reps, or maybe even 5 sets of 4 reps, As long as your total volume is increasing, you're good to go. So 3 reps on the planche press. I don't know about the form, but that's a PR. So I'm very happy with that. I'm just gonna keep going on the presses and see how many presses I can get today. Ooh. Ah, shit. There's something special about listening to Blue Stallion spamming some planche presses. I'm at 8 right now. 2 more to go to get to my previous PR. But we're definitely getting 12 today, so let's keep going. Goedemorgen. One more at least. Okay, so I already reached 12 reps, which is nice. That was my goal for today. But I feel like I can do a little bit more. So, like, I'm still doing the negative, right? I'm only doing 1 rep now, but the negative is still there. So I have some energy. Like, I could be satisfied right here, but sometimes you just gotta go with your gut, right? If you want to do more, you're feeling energized, why not just go for it? And, today I'll do some more presses than planned. But yeah, I'll skip the supinated planche, right, and just head straight to some accessory work or some band assisted work for endurance after that. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have a workout program, right? That's what I'm trying to say here. People sometimes ask me like, what is your plan? My plan is basically like push, pull, legs, and that's it. I focus on the 4 main exercises that are, for me in calisthenics: planche, front lever, leg, what is it? Pistol squat and the Nordic curl. Those are like the 4 exercises I focus on. It's like 90% of my work at least. So yeah, I don't really have like a plan of set and reps. I just know like when I'm training a certain exercise, for example, now I'm doing the planche press, I want to do more than last time. And if I feel I can do I did more than last time, but I can still do more, then I'll go for it, right? If it feels difficult, then I will skip on that. I will just, do a little bit more than last time and be happy with that. And then when I hit a plateau, I basically just make sure, hold on, when I hit a plateau, I just switch the style of training. I pick a different exercise or something, and I basically start from ground zero again. I take it as like a basic exercise. I try to build volume in it until I hit a new plateau, and I switch around the exercises. So I'll go from planche hold to planche press to planche push-up, in no particular order, but that's kind of how I go about it, I hit a plateau on one exercise and I go to a different one. So yeah, let's go with some more planche presses and then some endurance work on the band assisted planche. Let's go. Okay, so sorry for making you watch all those ugly presses at the end, but even if the form was bad, I still got them done, so I'm very happy with that. 15 presses, which is a new PR. And basically, when you're building up volume, right, whether it be, the planche or push-ups or dips, eventually, if you're going hard, your form is going to break down. So, I just try to keep it in mind. I try to keep my arms straight. It just doesn't happen. I'm not able to do it, but I try to think about it. As long as you aim to have good form and also have some decent form presses, like the presses in the beginning I did, they were not perfect, but they were way better than like the first training I did. So I'm improving there. And as long as that's happening, as long as you see improvement, that's okay, even if your form is not perfect. You cannot aim for perfection from the first try, especially, when you're tired, you're breaking down. If you really want to push yourself, it's normal that your form breaks down at some point. So yeah, that's that's it regarding that. For now, like I said, I will skip supinate the planche on the floor. Instead, I will go straight to some band assisted planche because this is going to help me get the endurance. My final goal, like I mentioned before, but if you're new, is to get 20 seconds of planche. That's my final goal. I want to hold it 20 seconds, no assistance at all, so I can do this weighted planche like over and over and over again. But that's power, and I need to translate that power into endurance as well. So after doing these heavy sets, I now do some longer sets as well with assistance, 20 seconds or more, so that I get the endurance, to just keep the planche and hold the position for that long of a time, which is, that's the challenge. That's what I'm aiming for. So hopefully we can do that soon. But first, keep the head down, keep working, and do some longer sets. Basically, I guess I will do. 2 or 3 sets today, depending on how it feels. But that's it. Let's go. Monkey. Oh, that feels fucking heavy. Let's do a quick wrist pause. Okay, one more set because it was fucking difficult. Some push-ups to a press will be good. All right, let's move on to forearm accessories. Okay, so I mentioned planche is a fucking basic exercise, right? You use it to get some basic conditioning and get stronger in basically every area, right? But I think most people don't treat planche as such, and that's why they're prone to injury. You know, planche is a high risk movement if you think about it. You can have problems with your bicep, your forearm, your shoulder, whatever, right? Your wrist especially. But that happens typically when you try to improve that planche super quickly. So you need to build conditioning for the planche by doing a level appropriate that's appropriate to you, right? So if you're still a beginner, you do the lean planche or something. But eventually you're gonna have to get stronger and adapt. And in that case, it's safe to do some accessories. For example, for the forearms, I like to do this hammer lift where I take this dumbbell, the weight is all on one side, and I lift it up like this. I pull my thumb towards me with a straight arm, and that's gonna basically take this muscle here in the forearm and make it strong as fuck. So this muscle in the forearm, it's used quite a lot in the planche, or well, a whole lot in the planche, because you're always pushing up like this. And if you push your hand up like this on your other hand, you can see the tension forming. So you really need to get this strong. That's why I'm such a fan of this exercise. People that have been watching for a while have heard this fucking exercise for hundreds of times already by now, but I really like it, so I like to say it for the newcomers as well. So yeah, let's lift some dumbbells, even though it's calisthenics. All right. So what's important with these accessories, right, is that you try to aim for a PR. It's only an accessory, I get it. It's not your main goal. But what's the point in doing it if you're not doing it to get stronger, right? You're doing these accessories to get your muscles that are falling behind, your weak muscles, to get them stronger. So if you're not aiming for a PR all the time, how do you expect it to happen? If I do the same lift with the same weight, with the same reps every time, my forearm is not going to get stronger, right? So whether it's a basic exercise or a skill or an accessory, right? Try to aim for more volume, try to aim for more difficulty, try to aim for something more frequency, right? Try to aim for something that's going to give you a PR. It doesn't have to be a big PR, just some PR, because that's the definition of training harder than last time. You do better than last time, aka you're getting a personal record. So I'm going to do one more set with a lower weight here, and that's going to be it for today. Alrighty, so that's going to be it for today's workout. Whew, my forearms are pumped. But yeah, like I said, the planche, you can use it as a basic exercise, right? In these basic exercises, you build volume, you build capacity, and if you take the appropriate level for your planche, for your foam lever, for your pistol squat, whatever, right? You can do it in a way that it is a basic exercise, multiple sets, not all of them to the max, getting up that volume, getting up multiple sets, instead of, going balls to the wall in one single set, trying to improve. I mean, with that one single set, you're gonna see some progress as well, right? But that's not building the basics. The basics, prepare you to do that one single set where you max out, but you don't max out during the building of the basics, or at least not the entire time. So when it comes to any exercise, right, whether it be planche, dips, pistol squat, Nordic curls, front lever, whatever, you can go balls to the wall in that one single set, go all out, right, build some good muscle, get some progress in strength as well, but that's not building your basic capacity. It's like, going out for a sprint. You're not when you're sprinting, you're not building capacity, aerobic capacity, to go for longer periods, to build the pace. The building of the pace happens when you tone it down a little bit, right, and give your body time to adapt. And that's for any exercise, not just dips or push-ups. Any exercise, I think, can be used as a basics. And when it comes to static exercises, I still think that's the case, but of course, only doing static exercises is not optimal, right? You can get away with only doing dynamic stuff. I mean, of course, don't get too like don't expect to get better at static exercises if you do that, but by only doing static exercises, I feel like you're lacking a lot of uh, gains, right? You're missing out on a lot of gains because you're missing this whole separate uh, form of exercise, which is the dynamics, right? And the dynamics, while they do not translate directly into the static, they will build kind of a base. They will, get the blood flowing in different ways, get the joints moving, right? And yeah, build capacity in other ways, right? It supports the static skills. And vice versa, the static skill can also support your dynamic, or the static exercise can also support your dynamic exercises. So I think it's better to do both of them, right? Do some static stuff, do some dynamic stuff, mix it in, hit the best of both worlds, and yeah, basically build your base in both of them, right? And that's gonna get you good gains. So yeah, basically that's it for today's workout. I have to urgently get some food in my system because god fucking damn it, after my run yesterday, I again dropped weight. I'm at 72 kilos on the dot. That's not good. I have to gain weight. So yeah, I cannot really complain because I brought it upon myself. But yeah, I'm gonna shove down some food. Keep doing that the coming days as well. Like I think I might have to up the calories to basically yeah, get back to gaining weight because we still have a few kilos to go. The final goal is 75 kilos. And while I do think it's okay that it takes me a while, it might even take me up to a year, right? I mean, I still want to see progress, right? So it's not like, oh, I still have half a year. I don't have to gain weight. No, 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 no. I have to keep trying, right? And then eventually I'll get there, but I want to see progress, right? I want to all the time, whenever, whatever situation I'm in, whether I have time until a year is filled up or not, I want to always, hit or take the right steps in the right direction to get the best bulk I can ever have. So, yeah, I'm gonna have some food now. That's it. And I'll see you tomorrow for a pool day.